Hello, word nerds, and welcome to the dictionary. My name is Spencer, and this is episode F46. This is an episode that I skipped a while back because I wanted to have a guest on who was, I don't know, a fear expert or something. But to be honest, I put absolutely no effort into that whatsoever and thought maybe I'll just record it myself. It's about damn time because I'm recording this just a couple of week and a half maybe before it airs. So we got to get going tomorrow. Tomorrow is a Friday, and I am getting an MRI of my lumbar spine, the lower back, and also my hip. I'm having some weird, hip muscly pain that I've had for like a month or something, and I don't know. I think I just screwed up my body when I was young. I was sat in a funny position when I was a kid, and I think my body, as I was growing as a young person, just sort of got all weird, and muscles got, maybe they're the wrong lengths, and maybe bones got twisted or something. I don't know. So, hey, let's get an MRI to see what's going on in there. And I partly hope they find nothing, but I also really hope that they do find something, because if they don't find anything, then what is explaining this pain I got? I don't know. Okay, I'll tell you about that later if you want. All right, let's get into the words. The first word in this episode, and it looks like it's the first F-E word. It is capital F, lowercase e, which is a symbol for iron. I-R-O-N, iron, but the symbol is F-E. How does that make any sense? That's because it is from the Latin word ferum, F-E-R-R-U-M, which I believe means iron. I'm just doing some ironing. My clothes are really wrinkly. Let's iron the clothes. Let's make them all nice and not wrinkly anymore. Yay! Okay, now I'm going to make a sound effect, which is going to be ah! The next word is fealty. Fealty. F-E-A-L-T-Y. Fealty. Noun from the 14th century. Number 1A is the fidelity of a vassal or feudal tenant to his lord. And I don't really understand what that means. The fidelity. Okay, so does that mean like you're loyal? Is that kind of how we're picturing this? The loyalty of a vassal or feudal tenant to his lord. So the lord is kind of like the what's the word? The real lord. Why can't I think of the word? The landlord. I knew lord was in there somewhere. The landlord is the one who owns the building that you pay rent to. So the lord, in these hundreds of years ago time, they would own this area, I guess. And the person who was living in the lord's building or land was the feudal tenant or the vassal. And so I guess their loyalty, their fidelity to the Lord is their fealty. But we got more definitions, and we have some etymology, so maybe this will help. 1B is the obligation of such fidelity. So if you have this loyalty, say, to this Lord, that is your fealty. But also your obligation, the thing that you have to do. Like if the Lord is like, all right, people, let's go to war. Let's go fight those other people because they look at us crosswise. And then you say, yes, I will go fight for you because you control everything in my life. That obligation to go fight with them, hold up their flag, be their brothers in arms, that is also their fealty. I think this is a word that probably was used in Game of Thrones. Number 2. So wait, was Stark the guy who said the line that's on my shirt, or a version of the line that's on my shirt, Sean Bean, his character in Game of Thrones, was he the lord of that area? And then everybody who lived under him, I'm not sure. I don't know the specifics of the old school times. Number 2 is intense fidelity. Fidelity. So a synonym is the word fidelity. So, we don't have very much longer to wait for the word fidelity. I can even tell you what day that episode is going to air on. Let's see. Fidelity is over here somewhere. It's going to be in the episode that is going to air on January 13th, 2025. So you'll get more information then. What does the etymology say? Fealty and fidelity are kind of similar. And so this is from, let's see, I'm skipping a lot of this. Wow, there's no information other than it's from the Latin fidelitas, which is like fidelity, and there's more at the word fidelity. In a relationship, let's say a partnership, people who are in a romantic partnership, if you have fidelity, you are not cheating on them, right? You're not doing something that goes against maybe the vows that you took if it was a marriage or just your personal vows and you didn't make it legal or anything like that. I'm trying to think of another way to use this word fidelity. Yeah, I can't. I'm blanking on sort of other ways to use it, but that's okay. We're going to talk about it in just like a month and a half. You'll get to hear me talk about it. Hoo-ha! Now we have the word fear. F-E-A-R. First form. This one is the verb, which, yes, is starting with a transitive. It is from before the 12th century. Of course, this is a very old word. The idea of fear is very old, billions of years old, I think. So, number one is archaic, and the synonym is frighten. So this is the action of fear. So I am going to frighten you. If we replace that with the word fear, I am going to fear you. Yes, see, this is archaic. We don't use the word fear in this way anymore. Number two is also archaic, and it means to feel fear in, and the example of what or who you are feeling the fear in is in yourself. Yourself? Fear, so how do you use that in a sentence? To feel fear in. So do you say, I fear myself? I feel like that it's a little redundant to say myself when the definition of the word implies oneself, or maybe it doesn't have to be oneself. Maybe it could just be anything. Although it seems kind of odd that if it's not specifically about oneself, then why would they put that word in there in the parentheses? To feel fear in. I want to know a context sentence from archaic times to know how to use this word properly. But it doesn't matter because this is not how English is used anymore. So we got to move on to number three. To have a reverential awe of. Did I say that word right? Reverential, yes. Oh, I have such reverence and awe for that thing. It is so beautiful, amazing. I love it, so I fear it. The example is fear God. Whoa. Yes, interesting that people have a love for God. God loves you if you believe in that sort of thing. But then because of course God is the all-powerful, all-knowing, blah 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 thing, then you must fear God because God can do anything. I don't believe that God is quite like that. That is my own personal opinion. You are allowed to believe whatever you want to believe, and I will not say anything about that. But there is a very common idea of fearing God. I have a reverential awe of. It's kind of a weird way to use that word, because if you say I fear God, then you are afraid of God, afraid of what God might do. Oh, if I say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, then God is going to get their revenge on me. They're going to have me do something funny and make me dance around like a clown. But reverential awe of is, I mean, I guess it really depends on the definition of reverential, but I guess when I think of the word awe, it's just like, oh my gosh, oh my God, God is so amazing. So I fear God. But I don't know, those don't really go hand in hand to me. Number 4, to be afraid of, and also expect with alarm. Expect with alarm. I am expecting a thing to happen, but I am going to be alarmed when it happens. Interesting. We have an example sentence. Fear the worst. Ah, yes. So that is definitely expect with alarm. If you have an idea of how a situation could go and you come up with the very worst possible situation, what is the worst way that this could go? Well, if you follow it all the way down to all the possibilities, it comes down to, well, I might die. If I don't get that job, and then I won't have money, and then I will not have a house, and I will not get any food, and then eventually I will die. That's just an example. So, fearing the worst. I fear the worst. I fear the worst possibility of how this situation could go. And so I am expecting it with alarm. I am alarmed because I don't want it to go that way. That sounds like a sucky way to go. And then also just to be afraid of. Yes, I am afraid of the worst thing. What are you afraid of? What am I afraid of? Briggs, what is it? Colonel Briggs, General Briggs? What is his thing? I can't think of it. Major Briggs in Twin Peaks. He says that what he's afraid of is that, I think I'm going to butcher this. It's something like that love is not enough, or something along those lines. And oh my gosh, that one really, it cuts to the bone. I'll have to look up that actual phrase and maybe put it in the show notes, but something like that. That's an interesting thing to be afraid of. Am I afraid of anything? I don't know. I guess I'll have to think about it throughout this episode. I mean, there's the normal, like, afraid of somebody coming at you with a knife, afraid of a lion coming to attack you. Yeah, I'm afraid of that. But I'll also try to be like, hey, lion, be cool, man. Okay, now we have intransitive, which is to be afraid or apprehensive. And the example is feared for their lives. So somehow this is different than transitive. If you are afraid of something, that's transitive. And just to be afraid is intransitive. So yes, feared for their lives when the lion was coming to attack them. I would definitely fear for my life in that situation. Anything else about this? Fearer is a noun. The etymology doesn't really give much. It just basically, I think, gives more old versions of this word. Middle English, feren. Old English, fairan. Also fair, F-A-E-R. So I guess those just mean fear. It doesn't say from Latin or anything. So, but we do have more etymology in the next word. So let's go on to that and make a sound that goes, wow! The second form of fear is a noun from the 12th century. Number 1A is an unpleasant, often strong emotion caused by anticipation or awareness of danger. It's got everything in there, doesn't it? An unpleasant, often strong emotion. Yes, I think that would be characterized as an unpleasant emotion. I don't want to feel fear. I would rather have the pleasant emotions. And it is caused by anticipation, like I am anxious about something coming up. I am anticipating something. Oh my God, I have such anxiety. I'm afraid of this thing that's coming. Or awareness of danger. Yes, when you go into the plains of Africa, down the rain, down to Africa, where the lions are, then yes, you would probably have some awareness of some possible danger when that lion is coming to eat you. let's just keep on reading. 1B1. An instance of this emotion is fear. 1B2. A state marked by this emotion. A state marked, so the fear is the feeling, and then when you feel that feeling, you have fear, and then you are in a state of fear, I guess, because you are feeling that emotion. Number 2 is anxious concern, and the synonym is solicitude. Solicitude, anxious concern. So this is where when you are anxious about something, you're kind of nervous. It could go either way, but you are anticipating something coming in the future, and you got the butterflies in the stomach about it. It could be a negative feeling. It could be a positive feeling. You can be anxious about something very good, or something like, oh, I really don't want to go through that situation, and it often isn't as bad as you think. Solicitude, yeah, I don't know that one. Number 3, profound reverence and awe, especially toward God. So in the previous word, that was the verb, you are doing the action of fearing God, and in this one, you have fear toward God. I guess if you want to fear God, fear God. I don't think God, if that thing exists at all, is something to be feared. Yeah. Number 4, reason for alarm. And the synonym is danger. So the thing that is the danger, the reason for your being alarmed, then that is the fear. The lion is the fear. Should we just keep on talking about lions throughout this episode? Sure, we'll do that. All right, we have some synonym information for the word fear. Fear, dread, fright, alarm, panic, terror, and trepidation mean painful agitation in the presence or anticipation of danger. That's just a big old definition for all those. But specifically, fear is the most general term and implies anxiety and usually loss of courage, as in fear of the unknown. We humans, we have a fear of the unknown, but also like what's different. And it has caused us to do a lot of really silly, stupid things, in my opinion. Fearing people who are different than us makes us not even give them the opportunity to show who they are and why you might like them, and maybe things that you have in common. Dread usually adds the idea of intense reluctance to face or meet a person or situation, and suggests aversion as well as anxiety. So you are nervous to do this thing, meet this person, whatever, but also it's like, I don't want to. I have dread over that possible situation. There's an example. Faced the meeting with dread. If you got to go meet with a lawyer, or go on a job interview, there could be some dread there if you've never done it before. Yeah. Fright implies the shock of sudden, startling fear, as in fright at being awakened suddenly. This is all of a sudden, oh my gosh, what is going on? I have a fright. Sometimes, if I go to bed before Sharon does most nights, she'll stay up a little bit, and so when she comes in, the door just it just makes a sound, and sometimes that gives me a fright. She's not doing anything. She just opens the door, and I'm right next to the door, and maybe I'm a light sleeper at that moment, and I haven't gotten into my deep sleep, and so I'm like, what is going on? And then I try to get back to sleep, and sometimes it's very difficult. Alarm. Alarm suggests a sudden and intense awareness of immediate danger, as in, view the situation with alarm. Yes, there is a lion coming towards me, racing as fast as it can, with its very pointy teeth showing that it wants to sink them into my yummy, tasty flesh. And I'm viewing this situation with alarm. I have a lot of alarm because I have an intense awareness of this immediate danger that will befall me. Ow. Panic implies unreasoning and overmastering fear. Wait, I think I read that wrong. Yes. Panic implies unreasoning and overmastering fear, causing hysterical activity. As in the example, the news caused widespread panic. Oh my God, everything is going crazy. There's an octopus that's 100 million feet long coming out of the ocean and it's going to attack us all. Uh, I think I need to read the example for panic again, or the explanation for panic. It implies unreasoning and overmastering fear, causing hysterical activity. The hysterical activity is really the big thing. All the crowds get into a panic. For some reason, the movie Quiet Place Day One just popped into my mind because there's a lot of panic in that one. So this is the prequel to Quiet Place, where there's aliens on Earth and they have very sensitive ears. And any tiny little sound, they will just come and attack the thing. Whatever's making the sound, they don't care what it is. They're just going to attack it. And so this is the prequel where the aliens come down to Earth, and understandably, the human population goes into a big old panic because they're all screaming, and then the alien goes towards that scream and eats that person. I don't want to ever be in a panic situation. I'm trying to think, have I ever been in a panic with like lots and lots of people? Not that I can think of. That's lucky. Terror implies the most extreme degree of fear, as in immobilized with terror. Yes, terror, fear will do this to you. You will be frozen. I would like to think that I would not be frozen in a situation like that, but there's a very good chance that I would be, and I would also probably piss my pants. Movies make me believe that that will happen. Trepidation adds to dread the implications of timidity, being timid, trembling, and hesitation, as in raised the subject with trepidation. So I would really like to talk to you about this thing, but I'm just sort of timid about it, and I'm just like, I don't know if we should talk about it, but I don't know how you're going to react when I talk about this thing, so I have some trepidation. I have dread about talking to you about this because of what the implications might be, but I feel like I should do it anyway. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at the etymology for this second form of fear. Let's see, Old English, fair, we already talked about that, which means, here it is, sudden danger. Sudden danger is that fear. Akin to the Old High German Fahre, which means ambush, and perhaps from the Latin periculum, or would it be periculum? That means attempt or peril. Also from the Greek peiron, which means to attempt. I wonder how it became. So let's see. Attempt and peril, ambush, and then sudden danger. So how does attempt connect to all of this? That one is a little bit. It does say perhaps from those, so maybe it's not as clear of a evolution there. Ambush makes sense. If that lion is coming to ambush you, then you would be in sudden danger, and then you would feel fear. Feel fear. What else to say? I don't know. I feel like there's so much to say about fear. Fear is the opposite of love. I think a lot of people believe that, say that. I feel like the mind goes blank when you're really trying to come up with stuff. in many situations, fear makes a lot of sense. But also, I personally try to live my life not being in fear. I feel like it's not helpful. It's I choose to try to view the world and think about life in as much of a positive way as possible. Like for instance, going to talk to somebody about maybe a thing that maybe they did something that you didn't really like. If you come to them talking about it in a much more positive way, like, hey, I don't want to be the bad guy here. I actually just had to do this situation. There were some people who were using our parking spots here at the office, and, instead of going, hey, clearly don't you see that the sign says those are for us and you can't use these, that would be coming at it from a negative situation. If you go that route, if I had gone that route, the people are going to react very negatively suddenly, and they're going to match that similar type of energy and get defensive possibly. And that doesn't build a good relationship. But instead, I chose to go at it from, hey, sorry to bother you. I don't want to be the bad guy here, but this is the situation. And they were very receptive to that. And, oh, I'm so sorry. And I try to be as nice as possible. And, it's like, hey, don't worry about it for tonight. Well, it's fine tonight. But, going forward, we need those spots because we have cars that need to park there. So that's just an example of how I like to choose the positive route of dealing with things. It could be dealing with people. It could be also just looking at your own life, the choices in your own life. If you choose the positive, less fearful route, those choices are based on fear or love when it comes right down to it. Then when you make that choice, I think it turns out better, and also it has an actual effect on your body and your brain and your emotions. It makes sense to me. I don't know if you feel strongly one way or the other. I don't know. Feel free to contact me and let me know, and we'll have a chat about it. But I don't know. Anything else? What else to say about fear? Fear, it's such a huge, huge thing. And I feel like so many of us live in fear. And, obviously there are mental health issues that you can't control. The chemistry in your brain just makes you do things. So obviously that's a whole different situation. But as much as you can, I think it is good to try to choose love, the positive side, than to choose fear, the more negative side. And that's what I think about that. And if I have more to say, I will tell you later, but I think we can just leave it at that for now. Okay? Thank you and goodbye. No, wait, we got more episode to talk about. We got to go. Wow! Fearful is next. Adjective from the 14th century, number 1, causing or likely to cause fear. Causing fear or likely to cause fear, fright, or alarm, especially because of dangerous quality. As in the example, a fearful storm. That storm, it's the perfect storm. We got 3 storms coming together to create the perfect storm. It's so beautiful. I would think it was so beautiful, except for the fact that I'm on a boat in the middle of it. So this storm is likely to cause fear, fright, or alarm because of its dangerous quality, because it's going to create very large waves and lots of rain and lots of wind, and it could have catastrophic possibilities, catastrophic events for my little boat, and so that is why it is a fearful storm. It is worthy of fearing it. That's the thing. In situations like that, when your life is literally in peril, then I think it makes absolute sense to be afraid, to be fearful. Now, Does that mean that, like, well, maybe if you can be chill about it, maybe you will your brain will come up with a solution of how to get out of this situation, or it won't be as traumatizing overall. But it's probably pretty hard to do that. Yeah. Number 2A, full of fear. That's fearful, as in the example, fearful for his safety. Fearful for his safety when the lion was let loose with the big old teeth. Number 2B is indicating or arising from fear, as in a fearful glance. Whoa. A fearful glance is indicating or arising from fear. So if I see that lion coming towards me, I'm going to give it a fearful glance because that glance has arisen from fear. I'm afraid, so I would go something like that. It indicates my fear. Now, 2C is inclined to fear. The synonym is timorous or timorous, Timorous. What is that? What does that mean? What does that mean? Inclined to fear. So you are, if you are a fearful person, then maybe everything makes you afraid. You are often afraid of just the world out there. Isn't there like a movie character that they're just afraid of everything? I can't think of it. Now we have number 3, very great or bad. Very great or bad. This is used as an intensive, as in the examples. A fearful waste, also fearful slum conditions. So either they're very great or very bad. So a fearful waste. What even is that talking about? A fearful waste of food, a whole lot of food, lots of a very bad waste of food or something. Also, fearful slum conditions. Those are very bad slum conditions. It's sort of the word slum just kind of means that already. But it could also mean I think what they mean by very great here isn't great good. It means like big, lots, great. Yeah. Okay, now we have fearfully is an adverb, and fearfulness is a noun, and we have more synonym information. Fearful, apprehensive, and afraid mean disturbed by fear. That fear feeling has disturbed some stuff in me, and I feel fearful, apprehensive, and afraid. Fearful implies often a timorous or worrying temperament, as in, the child is fearful of loud noises. There's that word again, timorous, or is it timorous? I don't know that word. It implies a timorous or worrying temperament. Yeah, so the child has fear of loud noises, so they are fearful of loud noises. Back in the day, I knew a family. I knew a dog. I knew a dog who was very afraid of like sticks or broom handles, those sorts of things, because if they fell, they made a loud noise. And so if they didn't want the dog to go into a room, they would literally just put up a broom or two in the doorway because they knew that if that fell, it would make a loud noise and it would scare them. Just one example of being fearful of loud noises. Now we have apprehensive, suggests a state of mind and implies a premonition of evil or danger, as in apprehensive of being found out. Uh-oh, I'm very nervous about the future when you find out that I was really a chicken all along. Afraid often suggests weakness or cowardice and regularly implies inhibition of action or utterance. as in afraid to speak the truth. Oh, please don't be afraid to speak the truth. The truth will set you free. The truth is all there is. The truth is important. Right now, these days, oh my gosh, we have to absolutely be talking about the truth as much as possible because there are so many people, especially here in America, who are in power, who can't stop talking about the falsities, the wrong things. Oh, it makes me so mad. Okay, so back to this word. Afraid suggests weakness or cowardice. So you're afraid, you are afraid, you are cowardly, and regularly implies inhibition of action or utterance. So you don't want to take an action because you are weak, possibly, not necessarily, but it's possible, and you are afraid to do the thing, and so you don't want to do it. You're like, well, I'm afraid of it, so you can't make me do it, but you must speak the truth. I don't think there's anything about that one, so we're gonna go to the opposite word. Fearless. Adjective from 1540. Free from fear. I believe fearful, wasn't there one of them? Yes, full of fear is fearful, and fearless is free from fear. You have less fear than the fearful, so you are free from it. This is how we all want to be. We want to be free from fear. Now, I do think that there is a physical, medical condition where people are, it's very rare probably, where people are just not afraid of anything. And they live their lives very happily, but obviously then they are more likely to get into dangerous situations that they probably should be afraid of, because if they were afraid of them, they would avoid the dangerous situations. So it's maybe not always the best thing to be completely fearless, but I think it is a good thing to strive for, at least. The synonym is the word brave. Brave. Fearlessly is an adverb, and fearlessness is a noun. I'm definitely not fearless. You know, I try not to be afraid of most things, but there are absolutely situations where I get that anxiety, that trepidation, that nervousness, whatever it is. For sure. Okay, we got just a couple more. Whoa! Fearmonger. Noun from 1939. The synonym is scaremonger. Ooh, this is getting interesting. What's a scaremonger? Are they one who maybe the people who work at a haunted house? Just a few weeks ago, we went to a very good haunted house in the Chicago area, and you got fear coming from all corners in a haunted house. So maybe the people who work there are scaremongers, fearmongers. They're doling out the scares and the fears just willy-nilly. Here's some scares, here's some fears. Fear-mongering is a noun. Okay, I think just one more. Fearsome. Fearsome. Adjective from 1768. Number 1A is causing fear, as in a fearsome monster. Oh, monster, you are causing so much fear in me. You are fearsome. I have some fear because of you. 1B. The synonyms are intense and extreme, as in fearsome determination. Ooh, intense and extreme. So fearsome determination is like you are so determined to do a thing, to get it done. You have no fear? Is that what it is? It's a lot. You have a lot of determination. Like, screw that fear. I'm just going to go do it. Hey. Number 2, synonyms are timid and, here's that word again, timorous or timorous. I was wondering if it was related to timid. Made sense. Now it makes more sense. So being afraid. You are fearsome when you are timid. Just just hiding in the corner. Fearsomely is an adverb, and fearsomeness is a noun. And now that was all of the words. So Spencer's got to pick a word of the episode. Today we had F-E, fealty, fear, fearful, fearless, fearmonger, fearsome. And those were all the words. And which one, as he kills time not thinking about which one he's going to pick, he's going to bring up his list of movies, although that's out of order, so we're not going to do that. Well, I'm probably just going to pick fear. Just because it's this big thing. It's like literally kind of as I sort of hinted to before, I think just about every emotion, every feeling that you feel can be boiled down to love or fear, one or the other. Happy feelings, that's love, that's clear. Anger, possibly sadness, surprise, those all come from fear. And those are the two things that are kind of battling in our lives, in our world, in our spiritual life, our spirit, I don't know. And I it sort of simplifies life if you break it down to that, fear and love. I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about this, but I feel like I might as well. There's a book called A Course in Miracles, and I have, back in the day, mostly many years ago, I did a little studying with it with my family, and I've read some of the book, but it really, a lot of it comes down to this. This is kind of what a lot of the book talks about, is just everything comes down to love and fear. There's just this one line from it, from the introduction, that says the opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. So just to add on to what this book talks about is the idea that love is all there is. The Beatles had it right. Love is everything. Love is all-encompassing. And how can something that is all-encompassing have an opposite? So is it saying that fear does not exist? Well, maybe it does if love is not all-encompassing in your life, but if you can get to that point, maybe that's a thing to strive for, is being fully loving, and then you will have no fear. But again, you know, when you take it down to like our physical reality world in society, sometimes it makes sense to be afraid and to have fear. I don't know. I'm not giving you any answers. I'm just giving you things to think about. That's all. Yeah, I guess I now have to sing a song about fear. Are there any songs that already exist about fear? Fear is a feeling, and I don't like feeling that feeling. I try not to be afraid, but sometimes I have fear. I don't know. I think that's about it for this one. Fear is bad. Fear is stupid. Don't be afraid. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Honestly, I really would like to hear what you have to say about fear. Fear in your life. Are you a fearsome, fearful person? Are you fearless? When was a time that you felt very brave, that you spoke the truth? Anything, feel free to let me know. And on that note, with all of that information, this has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.